Hey, why don't you stop and take a break for a second? My name's Cameron. You've probably seen my videos if you've scrolled through TikTok and just like to listen to the news a little bit. When I started out making these videos, it was something where I wanted to be a connector, someone who can associate our real world relationships with foundational issues so that we might have conversations that serve us all. And that can lead to some pretty heavy places. I get it. I mean, I've talked with people who it feels like you're speaking to a brick wall. And to be able to put myself out there feels a little bit scary, especially since some of those conversations are with people who I certainly don't agree with. If you've watched anything on my channel, you can probably tell where I lean politically. I'm not trying to hide that. But as we go through everything that we discuss here, whether that's pop culture, sports, politics, all of those different things, I think that there's a lot of room that needs to be had for validating everyone who is part of the conversation. You know, Jon Stewart did a really fantastic interview with Sarah Smarsh that inspired a lot of what I do. To be able to come together with people, to hold the conversation that needs to be had, to validate the experience, and to not shy away from the difficult conversation is what Tacks Media is all about. And I hope I'm doing a good job of that so far. I really do. Over the weekend, I was at a bachelor party. It gave me some space to get away from it all, to reflect. And at 29 years of 29, I'm not going to cut it. Screw it. We're going to do one take, folks. But at 29 years of age, all flubs considered, I'm at a bit of a crossroads. I formed Tacks Media LLC because I was laid off at the end of 2024 by a company that shall not be named. And during that time, I've been applying, collecting unemployment, and trying to survive. I decided to make my own job because I was having struggles in finding one. The job market is incredibly difficult right now. Along the way, I felt, well, you know what? I can do something that people can't. I have the opportunity and time in front of me to sit down and actually hold conversations with topics at hand. I'm still working on the whole podcasting, getting people on and that sort of thing. But through that, I think I've found something that a lot of people value. That is to have these conversations, to be a voice for things and actually take the news as we see it and then relate it to how we can actually interpret that within our social contract and how we can live as individuals. On top of that, I believe I'm a storyteller. It's why I started the Great Fantasy Story. I'll comment on the side here, and you can go and subscribe to that if you like serialized fiction. It was sort of a way to allow both sides of my brain to speak out. The right-handed, I think it's the right, is it the right? Anyway, let's call it the right side. The right side of my brain, which is logic, which is critical thinking, which is everything that Tacks Media is. And then the left side, which is the Great Fantasy Story, and telling a story in the world of Tridea that I think you all might like. But I still needed to pay the bills. And the reality is that over these past, nearing up on a year now, I haven't really been collecting anything from any of this. I only started this process of creating my own business towards the end of March. But it's tough. I'm not the best marketer when it comes to my own things. I've never really had to do that before, and I think that's something a lot of people can recognize, especially if you're trying to make a subscription service like I am. Substack is a wonderful platform. That's where I started. That's where long-form Brass Tacks, the original publication, was. Now it's a perfect host for TGFS. Again, please go do subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you want to support Tacks Media, that's a phenomenal place to subscribe there as well. I'm tinkering with the fact that, we might do some more podcasts and so on and so forth. But all of that is to say, over the past however many months it's been, I've put out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications. I've taken interviews with companies that, frankly, I'm not even sure exist. And I'm still working through the process of trying to find something that really fits me, can pay the bills, and also give me the space to continue doing what it is that I do. There's so much opportunity out there, but it's also like a dating app where everyone online, especially with easy applies, is now disposable. And I think it's given me pause, especially as I talk with my friends and see them, people who've spread out. Like I said, I was at a bachelor party this past weekend, and that perspective gave me a chance to really see that everyone has their own path. And for me to do this one, especially as someone who isn't really making any money from it, still feels right to me. And it's something that no matter what job I get to pay the bills in the meantime, unless, of course, we get a lot of subscribers from the next few posts, which would be really cool. But the reality is that I am going to have to pick up something in the meantime, which is a bummer because you know what? I really like doing it as what I do. But as I go through it, I also realize that I can keep doing this. Just might not be to what I expect, But the pursuit of our passions, of our creativity, of everything that we are, matters. Because life is difficult right now. We have politics that feel more obtrusive into our lives than ever before. Our social freedoms feel challenged every step of the way. And everything is more expensive. The lives that we live don't really feel sustainable. And that sucks, right? Yeah, I think we can all agree that it sucks. But to lose our humanity amidst all that, to lose what makes us us, might be the biggest tragedy of all. So whether you're making TikTok videos or starting your own baking business or writing fantasy on the internet, if it's you, do that. Because no one else can tell you what it is that you want to do. And we only get one life to live, I think. I don't know, I'm not really a spiritual guy, but the fact of the matter remains that every day we have is a gift. I have it tattooed on my side. I have it here on my desk. That's backwards, but it's token. All we have to decide is what to do with this time that is given to us. You might recognize that. It's in fellowship. Because all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. I mean, it speaks for itself. We can get out of bed, we can go to a job that pays our bills, allows us to live, and then we can still pursue the thing that makes us happy. The thing that keeps us moving forward. The things that allow us to survive, to go to our favorite hockey team's games or go out on a date, right? Because life may not feel sustainable in that sense. But it doesn't mean that it should take away from the fact that we can still live and do the things that we want to do and go out to wildernesses on the weekends to see our friends and have a party together. It's a hard perspective to grasp, especially when things feel hopeless sometimes. But that doesn't make it any less valid. And it doesn't make your dreams any less more real, even when things feel tricky to actually attain them with. So I hope, at least for a while, you're giving pause to yourself and a little bit of credit. Because life right now is hard. You could be trying to find a job. You could be trying to make your business work. And it may not be going the way that you expect it. But that doesn't mean it's any less valid to your experience and the true human condition that is putting ourselves out there. So, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking around. If this is your first time, welcome to Tacks Media. My name is Cameron Pratt. It's a pleasure to talk with you today. Let's talk soon, yeah? Be sure to like, share, and of course, subscribe while you're here. I'd appreciate it. All right, guys, talk soon.